Yo, Kouri Richins has continued her writing career behind bars, but now is trying to coerce witnesses in what to say. We're going to talk about this bombshell letter in today's video. Hello Sofa Squad and welcome back to the sofa. The sofa's back there pretending to be a sofa and I'm here pretending to be Paul. Roscoe's here pretending to be Roscoe. He is our mascot if you're new to the channel. And again, my name is Paul if you're new to the channel. I am happy to meet you. Now today, Kouri's been very quiet lately. And then one of the Sofa Squad members was like, Paul, you must look at this letter that she has written. And so I did. And so here we gather around the proverbial sofa. Now what we're going to do in this video is we're going to be actually reading the letter. It's 6 pages long, so bear with me. But before we do that, we will go over a little brief review of what the case is, because some of you might be new, you might not be following it or whatever. So we'll go over that, then we'll review the letter, and we'll kind of talk about it along the way. So, well, that's it. Go ahead and buckle your seatbelts up, and, well, let's keep going. So Kouri Richins is accused of taking the life of her husband, Eric. He was only 39 years old when this happened. This is in March of 2022. She has been accused of doing this with the powerful drug fentanyl. Now, it's alleged that she used this in a Moscow Mule and gave it to him, and this is what took his life. That's not all, though. Now, very quickly, we're going to look at this article that kind of sums up what was going on that possibly led up to this and what prosecutors are alleging. So I'm just going to put it on the screen and we'll review this article. It's by Daily Mail. So here it says, Richins and her husband had been arguing about her plans to purchase and flip a 10-acre, $2 million home in the days before he was found dead at their Utah home last March. Prosecutors say Eric found out that his wife had taken out $250,000 home equity line of credit and spent it, withdrawn $100,000 from his bank accounts, and spent more than $30,000 on his credit cards. She also stole about $134,000 from her husband's business mint for tax payments, the documents state. It says that she did agree to pay her husband back when he confronted her about the missing money. One day after his death, affidavits for search warrants show that Kouri signed the closing papers on the property and invited friends for a party where she was drinking and celebrating. Now, to top it all off, after this, she wrote a book, Are You With Me? And she even went on like TV and promoted this. And essentially, it was like a book about grieving based on her and her son's experience with him passing. I cannot make this stuff up. I mean, again, this day and age, none of this stuff surprises me anymore. I'm like, not only, and this is alleged, right? We don't know that she did this. The evidence definitely isn't cute, though. Not only did this take place, but then it's like the perpetrators want to then, let me go write a book about the crime, or whatever, garner even more attention from it. Look at the things that we've seen with things such as Letitia Stalk's interview in the news, and the pivoting of victimhood back to themselves in a situation that they created. So that was like the 10-cent version of what happened. And now let's get to the current stuff and now. Now keep in mind, she is currently incarcerated, awaiting trial and all this fun stuff. Now we're going to put another screenshot of an article, same article from Daily Mail up here, and we're going to go over this as to like what's exactly going on most recently. So look at the screen here. It says toward the bottom we'll start. On Friday, Richins had an incident when given the wrong medication. It was taken to the hospital after seizing up at Utah Summit County Jail. The source said it was the 6th time she's been given the wrong medication. Okay, now if that is the case, y'all, we need to get together up in here, okay? This is serious, right? Now, I'm not trying to sit here and take sides or anything like that, but I mean, given the wrong medication to the point of causing a seizure, and it's the 6th time, I mean, we do want her to, see her day in court, right? I mean, come on, right? I mean, I thought this was like really regulated while you're incarcerated. Anyways, so this took place. Let's keep going. Now the next screenshot up here, it continues. While she was recovering, her cell was searched and a 6-page letter addressed to Richins' mother, Lisa Darden, was found. In the letter, she asked her mom to tell Richins' brother Ronnie to repeat a narrative prosecutors say is a lie. In the letter, included in a no-contact order filed by the state, Richins says she wants her brother to repeat the link between Eric getting pills and drugs in Mexico to the fentanyl that killed him. All right, Kouri. Coming in hot, Kouri. Now, so there's all that, right? We're now going to read the letter. Now I'm going to say this. It's 6 pages. you might be like, oh my god, I can't take this. Well, I'm sorry, but we're going to do it. So you can either pause to read. I'll put each page up here. You can listen to me read it. It's up to you. I'm going to make commentary along the way, as I always do. That's just how we roll up in here. And here we go. Okay, so it says page 1, walk the dog, and then but take vague notes so you remember, with an asterisk. Very specific, very homeworky. Okay, so at the very beginning, Sky is saying even if the gummies have fentanyl in them, the prosecutor will say I tried to put the fentanyl in the gummies, so Eric would have them. Stupid, I know, but that's what she's thinking. We still test them though. However, she wants to link Eric getting drugs and pens, I believe, and pills from Mexico. So we need some kind of connection. Her private investigator is doing some research on the ranch cartel place Eric would stay at. Here is what I'm thinking, but you have to talk to Ronnie. He would probably have to testify to this, but it's super short and I can't make out this next word to it. He will need to tell Sky at the meeting next week. Upon information and belief, just like they say, a year prior to Eric's death, Ronnie was over watching football one Sunday, and Eric and Ronnie were chatting about Eric's Mexico trips. Eric told Ronnie he gets pain pills and fentanyl from Mexico, from the workers at the ranch. Not to tell me because I would get mad, because I always said he just gets high every night and won't take care of the kids. There are pictures in my phone of Eric passed out on the floor or in the chair. Ronnie should have texts from Eric talking about getting high as well. Eric told Ronnie he keeps them in an allergy pill bottle in his something, so I wouldn't find them. Ronnie never, and we're going to go to page 2. Something anyone to know he had an issue, especially get called. He always wanted Kouri to go down for him. When they traveled, Eric would put his drugs in Kouri's bag at the something right before they boarded, at the airlines right before they boarded. That way, if they were called, Kouri got in trouble, not him. Once they got to whenever or wherever they were going, Eric would pull the drugs out of her bag and it would cause a huge fight. She was pissed he would risk her going to jail for his drug use. He just would laugh about it. Eric couldn't ruin his image that he had drug issues, so he would do whatever he had to. Kouri has never done any type of pills, didn't like them. Rarely would she consume THC, only if Eric begged her, because it was a special occasion. And then here's asterisk. Reward this, however, he needs to make the point, just include it all. The connection has to be made with Mexico and drugs. Ronnie will something the messages to save the messages or something to prove. Eric confided in him about getting high. It can be short and to the point, but has to be done. Upon information and belief, LOL, they never found pain pills or fentanyl in my house because he hid it in an allergy bottle and work truck, and Cody emptied out work truck within a week, so they were never found. Okay, now let's pause for a second here so far. I mean, y'all, this is some contorted stuff. This is an entire story. You know what it reminds me of is the Amber Heard and Johnny Depp thing. Remember how she was like taking pictures of him and doing all this crazy stuff? I mean, this is very intricate, right? Very intricate, very thought out. Now, mind you, we already know that she's capable of this plotting and all that type of stuff. I mean, for God's sake, she wrote a book about what happened, right? But nonetheless, like the level of care that went into trying to plan this out, well, that was with her being on the outside. Now she's incarcerated and has all this time on her hands, so you know she's cooking up, you know, some dynasty level plot lines here, okay? Now we're moving on to page 3. It says, when you talk to Ronnie about this, meet up with him in person. I worry sometimes your house and phone are bugged. Maybe drive down to, I think, SL and meet him after work without Bree. Sky has to make the connection between Eric and Mexico because that makes the most sense in her mind. If it's Ronnie's information and belief about the conversation over football, she can use that as a connection. Tell something, Vinny, don't overanalyze it. It was a quick 2-minute conversation. LOL. Tell him I need him to do this. Bring me home and then we will get those damn BITCHES. Wow. Okay, let's continue. Also, please text Lotto or call Tell him, do not text me anything about us doing things together ever, like church, skiing, trips. Nothing that puts us together. It doesn't look good. We're so close to the end. Let's push through. Have the conversation with Ronnie before he meets with Sky. Then tell him to tell Sky at the meeting about the conversation. Hang in there. We're almost there. Love you to the moon. Take vague notes of all of this so you remember before you walk the dog. Okay, now let's just break this down a little bit. Let's talk about the very beginning here. You know, when you meet up with Ronnie, you know, or when you go, you have to meet a person. I'm afraid that your house is bugged. Okay, here's my thing. You're writing from jail. Why in God's name would it ever cross your mind to send this out of the jail and then to even be worried about her house being bugged? You're in the epicenter of being watched and you're putting this information in a letter. I mean, this is what's next level. And the level of plotting. I mean, my God. I mean, and again, I mean, I say this, she has all this time in her hands, right? So she's able to make these connections and all this. But I mean, you see how much attention to detail she's putting in this, trying to get away with this. But also what it tells you, listen to her, let's push through this. We're almost at the finish line. I'm like, girl, are you kidding me? The evidence, well, let's be honest. The evidence is, you know, it's not very good looking. But now, when all this type of stuff comes up, how often does somebody get poisoned? I mean, this is not a normal thing, right? I mean, it's just not. And so there's been so many things, so much evidence that this guy's put forth where he was calling this out. He was afraid this was going to happen. You know, we've seen this before. Out of Utah, you know, out of these places, right? It's just like, I mean, my God, I cannot roll my eyes hard enough at the logic of it. It's so exhausting, but obviously we see from here, she thinks she's going home. Now, again, anything could happen, right? It hasn't gone to court, so I don't know that yet. But just me being an onlooker, I'm like, girl, like, you know, again, it's stacking up badly against you. And this right here, this is bad. Okay, we're moving on to page 4. I saw a commercial yesterday, Utah Mortgage Relief. Google them, please. It's for people behind on their mortgage. Can you see if they can help at all on Marissa's house, please? We have to get hers, yours, and Chelsea's taken care of ASAP. Try to go to that place in commas. What about asking Lotto to do a loan solely in his name and not have you on there? I know he can do a home equity line of credit on his house and hideout. Not sure if he would, but I know he has like $1 million in equity. Maybe he just doesn't know about a HELOC home equity. I think home equity loan, something like that. If he wants to help me, taking care of those loans is most important. I don't give a you-know-what about the hotels, something like that. Remember I told you one day to get at Katie is going through my phone and finding a picture of her girls, even with the boys. Print his copies and send them out anonymously to different media companies. Obviously don't email the pictures so it's not traceable. She would be livid if it got out to the public. You would just have to do it sneakily and be careful. She would try and trace it back to you. If not, no worries. Well, girl, the cat's out of the bag on this one, and I bet she is a fuming. You know Kouri's in her cell punching air right now when she saw this. She's punching air, okay? Sky is having the girls do the first interview with Good Morning America. Please tell Chelsea to bring up that he hasn't been to church in the 13 years she has known him, and Eric would brag to her about how much he drank and did pills in high school. Tell Kelsey to say Eric always wanted Kouri to go down for him. For example, he would put drugs in her suitcase when he would travel together, so if anyone got caught, it was Kouri. He would put it in her bag right before they left the house so Kouri didn't know. Then when she would land wherever, Eric would take them out of her bag and Kouri would be pissed and they would argue about it. Something Kelsey to tell Casey to say how Eric didn't care and would just laugh about it and say, well, I can't get in trouble, as if it was okay that I got in trouble. Have Selma talk about Eric in Spain not being able to drink, so he was looking for drugs the entire time, and explain the drink the waitress gave him and how I called his doctor and went to the pharmacy immediately. Have Allie talk about how the sisters have always, and let's move on to the last page, been jealous of me because anything they could do, Kouri could do better. Being a mom, college, stay-at-home wife until She built $1 million company, a nice house, car, everything. She had, they wanted. This comes down to jealousy, money, and Eric's partying that they don't want to acknowledge, and sadly an accidental overdose. Lastly, don't forget to work on the gun receipts. We want to file charges and let the prosecutor not do anything about it to use in their defense. Will you buy a box of Crest White strips, open them up, put in an envelope, and have Sky give them to me? You can tell her what's in the envelope. I'm sure she won't care. I'll make sure they can't be found in my cell. My teeth are yellow from so much coffee and tea all day. I love you. I love you. I love you. Hang in there. We're getting there slowly. You're the best mom in the whole world. I'm so lucky to have you. It's like she has no idea how jail works. I'm like... She's got about 5 damn charges in this little letter. I mean, that's not funny. It's the absurdity of it that's funny, right? I'm like, girl, you are talking about sneaking contraband. Like, does not care about anybody. Give it to someone, so they'll bring it in. They won't care. I'm like, girl, this is stuff people can catch charges over. I mean, you know they're ransacking her damn cell after this. I want Crest White strips because I drink so much coffee. The amount of privilege, the amount of entitlement is disgusting. I mean, and this right here, look at the story. Again, I'll say it 100 times in this video. Look at the story she is painting for everyone. Like, what does her mother think of this? Right? Like, what does her mother think? I mean, this is insane. I can't believe she put this in a letter. My mouth is on the floor over this, right? This is, think of all the cases we watch where they're like, okay, well, now up on the evidence list is the perpetrator going to Walmart and purchasing all of the weapons that were used in the murder and have their fingerprints on them. And they also paid for them with a credit card in their own name. And you're like... And why are we even why didn't you plead out to this? You know what I'm saying? It's like the same thing. I mean, she's put her whole defense in this letter, and it's all based on these lies and like all this contorted stuff. I mean, my gosh, I cannot, y'all. I'm trying to decide what the word... Sadly, a father has lost his life, right? Her, you know, former late husband. And these boys no longer have a dad, sisters, a brother, etc., right? And to see that this is what's going on here. She is continuing, this is an accidental overdose. So that's what we've gathered from the letter this. It's an accidental overdose. This is from her perspective. Accidental overdose. She's going home soon. She's the best thing since sliced bread and everybody's jealous of her. I mean, I could go on, right? So this is clearly what's going on. Now, the state's going to have fun with this. I mean, they already released it, right? I mean, like, we can all read it. So you know, like I said, she's punching air over this. This is bad. I mean, all the way down to her Crest strips. I'm like, girl, they're going to make your life a living you-know-what in here. They're going to constantly be flipping your cell over because of this stuff right here. Again, they have, I mean, it's like, does she not know that they read this stuff going out? I mean, because here's the thing. You run the chance of, now I don't know how it works, but it's like, you know what I mean? Like if they read everything verbatim that goes out, or if they pick and choose like what they do, right? Can you imagine what kind of conversations she probably has on the phone there? Probably has, like if you told her like, Kouri, these are recorded, she'd be like, they record the phone calls at jail? Well, when they start doing that? You know, it's just like, girl, zero concept of where you're at. No self-awareness, okay? You're in jail. Let's start there. Okay, everything is documented, girl. Okay, everything. But again, they tell on themselves, and this is what happens because again, at the center of this is her husband, like I said, Eric, who no longer is here. His boys don't have a father. Families are destroyed over this, and she's over here trying to construct a narrative. You know, oh, he was trying to get me set up and thrown in jail, and blah 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 blah, and this, that, and the other, and have them say this and have them say that. You know, destroying his name. Maybe the guy liked to party. We don't know. You know, but the evidence so far shows it's like, girl, you kind of tried this already once. It was just successful this time, right? The poisoning. And so this just, it cements the evidence even more into place. So, anyways, what was your favorite part of the letter? I'm curious to know. I'm very curious to know what part of it was your favorite part. The accidental overdose? The Crest strips being snuck in? The use of sneakily? I mean, I want to know. Drop in the comment sections. If you're here. Now, Roscoe's over here. Roscoe just went to sleep. He got about page 2. He said, this is ridiculous. He said, they're just going gonna lock her up. She just don't have no common sense, does she? Roscoe says he loves you and to drop some comments, we'll drop some comments, but some sofas down in the comment section for him. And until we meet on those sofas in the comment section to continue the conversation, we'll see y'all there.